Hi, I'm Angela Hinkle with the University of Florida Institute of Food and Agricultural Sciences Extension. And today we are going to make quick bread. And the great thing about quick bread is that it's quick. And it's also very, very easy. The first quick bread that we're going to make is a beer bread. And 3 ingredients are all that is necessary for quick bread, okay? Or for this particular quick bread. We have some self-rising flour, and I have about 3 cups of that, and we're going to put that into a bowl. And I have just regular old white self-rising flour. The self-rising flour, again, has the other ingredients already in it, so you don't have to worry about mixing in things to help it to rise. You don't have to use a yeast, and you don't have to worry about kneading it or any of those kinds of things. So again, it's very quick. And then we also are going to add some beer. A can of just any kind of beer will usually do the trick. Nothing particularly special about this one. So we're going to add this in, and it's gonna kind of get all foamy, which is great. That's part of what beer does. And you could add sugar or you could add honey. And in this case, I'm going to go ahead and add some honey. And again, about 1/4 cup of honey will do the trick. It could be sugar as well. And that's just going to bring out a really nice taste. The combination of the beer and that bold sort of taste, as well as the beer, mix this all together. You do not want to over mix, okay? And the reason for that is if you over mix, then you tend to end up with a brick of beer bread, and we don't want that to be the case. So you just want a sort of a thick, pasty consistency, and then we're going to put this, once we get it all mixed up, into a loaf pan that I have very liberally sprayed with some cooking spray so it does not stick. If you'd like, you could add a little bit of butter to the top, but again, that's another ingredient that we don't need right now. So I'm going to go ahead and take this. I have my loaf pan. They come in different sizes, but there's some general standard ones. And I'm going to just add this in. And I've got a spatula just so I can sort of even out the top a little bit. So we've got our mixture in here, and we're going to add some aluminum foil to the top in just a few minutes. But now we're going to get ready to make quick bread number 2. We've made one quick bread. Now we're going to make the second quick bread. For this one, I've used a different flour. We're going to use all-purpose flour because a lot of people have all-purpose flour in their house. It's all-purpose. It works for many, 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 many things. So I have about 3½ cups of all-purpose flour, and I'm using white because that's generally a very easy thing to work with. And even though a whole grain flour is much healthier, there are a lot of measuring of ingredients that you have to change. You have to do some math. You have to add some white and some whole wheat. And so today we're just gonna stick with a really nice basic recipe for quick bread. So this one is an Italian herb quick bread. So we've got our flour in here, our all-purpose flour, and we're going to add about 3 teaspoons or a tablespoon of some herbs. I've got some basil, and I've got some oregano, and I have a little bit of thyme, and I have some marjoram in there as well. There's a little bit of salt, and that's about 1.5 teaspoons. And then to help everything work together and have that little bit of rise, we have a little bit of some baking powder, which was about 1¼ teaspoons. I'm going to stir this up real quickly so this all gets incorporated nicely, and you don't just have a lump of some baking powder somewhere and a lump of some salt somewhere and a lump of herbs somewhere, but just stir it up really nicely. Okay, and then what we're going to do is add in a really great ingredient that works for a lot of things, and that is buttermilk. Okay, so this is about 2 cups of buttermilk that we're going to add in. And if you don't have buttermilk, which a lot of us do not have in our household, you can take, for every cup of milk, about a tablespoon of lemon juice or apple cider vinegar. Works really, really well. And that turns regular milk into buttermilk. So that combination works really well. So again, we're going to stir this up well enough so that all of the bits of flour and everything get incorporated and they get nice and wet together. But you again don't want to overdo it with the mixing. Okay, and what we're going to do is take this and add it into a pan, a baking pan, that already has a liberal spray of cooking spray in it. You can add some butter to that as well. Okay, and one more thing that we're going to add in is some Parmesan cheese. Okay, so I've got about 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese. Last little bit to mix up in there. And if you wanted to, you could just add that to the top. That would be fine as well. Okay. And I'm making musical notes here with my glasses clinking. All right, so this is pretty well mixed up, and we're going to add it into the pan. And then after we do that, I'll show you how we're going to take both of them and put them in the oven together at about 375 degrees for about an hour. We'll have 2 loaves of easy quick bread when we're finished. We're ready to put both of our loaves of quick bread into the oven. So we have 1, 2, and they're both covered with aluminum foil. And before I put the aluminum foil on, I sprayed it liberally with some cooking spray so that if this starts to rise when it's in there, it doesn't stick to the aluminum foil. About halfway through the cooking process, so about 30 minutes in, we're gonna open up the stove and take the aluminum foil off. And that way they'll continue to cook, but they'll get a nice brown top. And so it looks prettier. They'll still cook well, but it'll look prettier. And then when you want to know for sure that they're done after about an hour, you can put a toothpick or a knife, sharp knife in, and if it comes out clean and nothing is gummy and sticking to it, then you know that your bread is complete and you are going to enjoy it so much.